magic. I couldn't tell you the real reason other than God, because we literally have never practiced ever.
How did the Netflix special come about, though? Did they approach y'all?
Yeah, it was like a 2-year process.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was a 2-year process, and we, had to make sure everything was right before we jumped out there, because the thing about it is, in our mind, we make Netflix specials every time we put a live show on YouTube.
Real talk.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gonna talk.
Let me ask you this, man. Like, you guys, man, that Netflix special, bro, #1. It stayed #1 for a while.
Congratulations.
Hey, man, you
Thank
guys
you.
did a dope job. I had seen you and Carlos. I never really seen DC Young Fly, as far as in stand-up. So that was dope to see him in that element. But the thing I looked at, man, was the way you guys' chemistry is, man. One being from Mississippi, one being from DC, the other being from Atlanta. Like, that's a crazy combination. It can't be nothing but God. You know what I'm saying? Just how did y'all even link up? Just give me the spiel on how you guys came together.
Me and Los met prior to getting on Wild 'N Out.
Okay.
We met at a show at my alma mater at Winston-Salem State.
Okay.
He came with a guy named Zooman Miller to do the show, and we were on the show. I was in a group called the Freestyle Funny Comedy Show, which was an improv group that we started in North Carolina, and we met there. So, we already had a relationship. Me and Fly met on Wild 'N Out. You know what I'm saying? He had knew Los, which was it's like it was instant. Because Los had came there, they traveled there together. Los had came downstairs and was chopping it up with me when we got back. And then Fly came down and looked at both of us like, I see, nigga, you done left me for your real friends. Damn. And that had immediately made me like, this nigga a real nigga. So we just blended like that. And, Los is our elder. That's both our big brother, you know what I'm saying? And he is our elder in comedy, and just having that mentality of what it looks like to make it in the game. He's strategic, you know what I'm saying? That's why they call him the sensei, because just the way his mind work, how he can slice shit up in regards to the game, and we trust him, you know what I'm saying? We've always trusted him. So when he was like, man, we got to do some shit for us, and I'm like, nigga, whatever it is, let's do
hard.
it, you know what I'm saying? But this the shit that we do when we around each other anyway. So
y'all was just talking and saying, we
do this anyway. This is how we chop it up, whether the cameras is on or not. So you just seeing us be us in front of the camera. That's all it is. That's why it works like that. It's magic. I couldn't tell you the real reason other than God, because we literally have never practiced ever.
How did the Netflix special come about, though? Did they approach y'all?
Yeah, it was like a 2-year process.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was a 2-year process, and we, had to make sure everything was right before we jumped out there, because the thing about it is, in our mind, we make Netflix specials every time we put a live show on YouTube.
Real talk.
So we was like, man, what do y'all give us that we not already given ourselves?
Yeah.
And we just looked at it and weighed the options, and just the national exposure and the international exposure, if you will. That's what really made us say, okay, let's do it. And it came out dope, because it's not our best work, if you will, but it's a great commercial for the work that we do.
Who came up with the 85 South, the whole the name and just
that's Los, you know what I mean? That's all Los. The format was, we worked that out together, but the idea of just initially spearheading everything, that's Carlos Miller all the way.
Big, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the dope show. When you see it screams black culture, and I think that's so important for us to be able to see something like that on the internet. It develops our people, bro. You see a lot of mess on that internet, man.
Right.
So it's like to see somebody really just having a good time, having a normal conversation like we do. We just be talking.
Right.
And that's the dope part about a podcast. That was the whole game for us getting in it, was so we could inject something into this thing where people could see my kids, because they stay on the phone. I'm like, shit, we gotta get on this phone.
Right.
Like,
right.
How can we get on this phone and be something that they can admire? That was my whole deal. So
yeah.
I think you guys got it.
Because the show, when I was watching it, it's like no other show that
it's never been done before.
Right.
And to get those type of, I don't even know what to call it, to get that type of just stamp from the OGs,
right.
You know what I mean? It's the Steve Harveys, the Martin Lawrences, the Eddie Murphys. Like, these dudes have told us personally that y'all doing some shit that ain't never been done before.
Wow.
So it's like, we didn't realize that that's what we was doing. We were just doing what came naturally to us. But that's usually how history is made. And, you know, that's something that I tell people that ask me for advice, man. Do what come natural to you. Don't force it.
But how does it feel to you when you hear them tell you all of that?
It's surreal.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gon' talk.